What is going on, everyone? Before we get into today's episode, we're running a special test group. So for those of you who want to get shredded, I'm not just talking about losing a little bit of weight, I'm talking about shredded. If you want to have that superhero physique and see yourself lose unwanted fat while putting on new muscle, to really just have that look where you can look at yourself and say, wow, I am a lean person, this is for you. We're going to take on 3 males and 3 females at a very special rate, and this will become first come, first serve. We're doing a 90-day test group to really help people achieve a really healthy maximal amount of shreddedness in a very reasonable time using our advanced polished physique system. So this is your chance to jump on this, to take advantage of this amazing deal. If you're looking to get shredded, this is for you. This is your time, and the next 90 days are going to be insane. But once again, there are only 3 spots available for each sex there, so you can go ahead and DM us saying shredded to our Instagram at ColossusFit, ColossusFit, and we look forward to taking care of you. Now into the episode. What is going on, everyone? Welcome to another episode of the Fit, Healthy, and most of all, Happy podcast. As always, I'm your coach and host, Josh, here with
his co-host and co-coach, KG, and I'm in the house.
And this is Motivation Monday. This is your time to sit back, relax, sip your coffee, and just get motivated for the week to come. Even if you're listening to this later in the week, you can still get motivated for the next 7 days in front of you. And we love kicking the week off with this episode because we throw in a little bit of inspiration. We like to talk about what's on our minds, what we're going through, and just what's relevant in the fitness and health industry to help you get better results faster. And we like to start this off with some killer quotes. So what's your quote for this week, Kyle?
And so my quote for this week is a deep one, but it's something I'm very passionate about. You don't realize what you have until it's gone. And this is just a really great reminder to appreciate what you have, where you're at, and just really don't take that for granted. I think it's so easy for us to just take things for granted. And then when we lose something, whether it's like maybe a friendship or relationship, our health or whatever it is, that at that point, then you say, oh, well, I wish I did this different or whatever it is. So I really wanted to stress this amazing quote. You don't realize what you have until it's gone. It's such a good reminder to appreciate where you're at, everything that you have. And that's my quote for this coming week.
This is something I've been working on personally, is just being grateful. We've mentioned it before, how 10 years ago you'd probably dream about everything you have now. And it's so easy to say, well, these are just my things, this is my reality, this is my situation. But you should be proud of it, and you should reflect on how proud of it you are, and how every day is a new opportunity to express gratitude, to enjoy those things. And even something I'm going to get into later in my thoughts is every day we should just be thankful that we woke up, because every day when we wake up, someone else doesn't wake up. It's pretty heavy and crazy, and it's something really to reflect on, because every component of your life you should appreciate. Even if you have that crappy car, you can say, I'm thankful I'm not taking the subway. And if you're taking the subway, you can say, I'm thankful I'm not walking 5 hours to work. There's so many comparisons where you can always compare upward and say that your situation's worse, but also you can compare downward. And sometimes reflecting on that can be very motivating as well, because it can really help you not be complacent. I mentioned before, for me with the gym, knowing I'm able-bodied, I'm healthy, that is such an advantage, such a gift. There are people out there that would give everything just to be able to walk down the street or to do the smallest thing. And it's a good reminder, because when you do that, it really motivates you to do more and to do the most with what you've been giving, and to really challenge yourself to just get the most of that. So I think that is incredibly well said, and it's a good reflection too, to appreciate everything as you have it. And then next up for my quote, I have, it doesn't matter what happens to you, what matters is what you're going to do about it. And lately, this has just been my mantra in life, not this quote specifically, but this principle, because I truly believe that something can always happen, something horrible, something kind of annoying, a minor nuisance, but there's always something that can pop up. And what matters is that we can't control that. That we can do things to make sure, obviously we're doing things in a better way to minimize risk, but at the same time, risk is a reality. It's something that can pop up, and what we need to control is how we respond to it. If we get sick, what can we do? In that time, I'm going to use this time to rest harder than ever. I'm going to make sure to drink a ton of water. I'm going to eat healthier food than ever. I'm going to replenish my mind. I'm going to spend some time doing things, maybe do a little bit more work, and try and square away things and see that obstacle as an opportunity. Just the same, if you have an injury, you can work around it. You can use that time to learn new recipes, to start cooking more, to get some small things down that you've been putting off. There always can be a silver lining to a situation. It can be really hard to see it, but when you put yourself through pain twice, you're not doing yourselves any favors. So when something horrible happens and then you respond to it negatively, it's just making it that much worse. But when you take control of it, it's really powerful. So once again, it doesn't matter what happens to you. What matters is what you're going to do about it. And what's funny is this really stuck with me because a few years ago, I don't remember, maybe 3 or 4 years ago, I had a motorcycle. Something happened where insurance made a mistake and they misquoted me, and I was paying like a lot of money for that motorcycle, like $300 a month in insurance, which is pretty bonkers. But they said, hey, we made a mistake with your age, so it's going to be $800 a month. And I'm like, are you nuts? Like, that's more than the bike is. That's crazy. That's over $9,000 a year. I am not paying that. Like, what can we do here? And they're like, well, we're sorry, we made the mistake. You can either pay it or not. And I'm like, well, I'm not paying it. And then they took it off insurance. And then, case in point, the next day or the day after, I went downstairs. I used to park my motorcycle behind my car at my condo, and it just wasn't there. And I'm like, what the heck? And I paid something like $10,000 for that motorcycle, and it was gone. And that money was in thin air. And when something gets stolen, there's not much you can do about it, unfortunately. Nowadays, there's just crazy like rings that kind of control this, and it's just such a mess. So in that moment, I thought, I can sit here and like whine about it and cry and woe is me and think of all the ways I could have spent $10,000 and all these different things. And in that moment, I just had a revelation. I remember being like, I'm not going to be like that. I'm just going to, and I made an Instagram post. I'm like, this happened to me, but I'm not suffering through it twice. I'm moving on. What's done is done. There's no point dwelling on it. And what's funny, and the reason I bring that up, is me making that choice in retrospect was the best choice, because I would have been so upset if I was overly upset about it. Yes, it sucks, but now looking back, it's just like something that happened. It was so long ago in my mind. Like, it's just at this point like a funny story. Yeah, it sucks, it hurts, it's whatever, but I just kind of something. And then obviously Kyle has a story to add on to this.
Yeah, we were in Montreal for F1 this past weekend, and it was an amazing experience, really cool. It's really awesome to be able to just go to different areas and experience that stuff, especially since, we love cars. And on the Saturday morning, 3:30 a.m., I woke up to my truck being stolen. And so essentially right away, I started to, I looked outside, it was gone, called the police and started to check off a bunch of different things. And I said, okay, just chill out a bit. Take a few deep breaths. Everything's going to be okay. And when the police got there, I did the report. I started typing a caption. I was about to post everything. And my friend that was there, Carlos, he had said, man, I don't know how you're so calm. Like in this moment, like I'd be a mess. And I said to him, my biggest thing here is I'm doing what I can control. I can't go out and try to find them. They're long gone. I filed the police report. I've typed this caption. I'll post it when everyone's awake. And that's kind of the mantra that I had battling through that, because it's so easy to just let something defeat you and take over and then skip the gym and then just ruin what could have been what was an amazing weekend. And I still had a great time there. And it's not that I'm like overly positive. I'm not someone who just I am trying to look for the best. Like I'm not perfect, but at the same time, like there's no point in just letting something defeat you, especially when you ask yourself the question of what can I do in this current moment? Like what's in my control? And that's something I always ask myself. If I get cut off, if someone steals something, if just something's going on, instead of just kind of like blowing up and just being a mess, my question is, what can I do that's in my control currently? And I feel like that question alone can help you so much in pushing through these obstacles and pushing past these issues and stressors that may cause a lot of different issues in life, essentially. So yeah, it is what it is. Insurance handled it. We're getting that all squared away, and just something that I wanted to share with you as a random thought for this podcast on Monday.
Yeah, and we bring this up not to like once again complain about our situations, but I think these illustrations are just so good because I mentioned in the past too, I had that surgery. I've been insanely healthy. I've never had any big medical things. Once again, that's my privilege and that's my blessing, and that's something I'm thankful for. And every day I'm thankful I have my health. But I needed this one small surgery, and I'm going to be out of the gym for probably a month. This sucks. Once again, I wanted to have that same feeling, but I took that positive spin. I remember I got leaner than ever. I ate better than ever. I rested better than ever. And I said, when it happens, I'm going to recover better than ever. And this is something I constantly challenge my clients with. When something happens, we're human. We break, we heal. It's part of the process. But I like to say train hard, recover harder, because oftentimes we're recovering from other random things. Like we'll be jet skiing, we'll get whipped off, and we'll hurt ourselves or something. And it sucks because you're like, I'm out of the gym, I'm out of my flow. And it's discouraging, and you want to bundle up and you want to just kind of be in that self-destruction of like eating a ton of food, of numbing, of just anything you can. But instead, if you say, here's my obstacle. All I can do is what I can do in this situation. Let's get after it. Let's make it count. If you can't use your upper body, do more leg days. If you can't use the lower body, do more upper days. Like, there's opportunities for this. And I mentioned too, even if you're like completely unable to do anything, you can always control what you eat, what's in your mouth. And it can be such a good opportunity to do that. You can have the opportunity to improve your knowledge, your skill set, your planning, your goal setting. Like, if you look at these negatives as positives, it's so powerful. And me and Kyle are so big on this because anytime someone says there's an obstacle, we like to like elevate our obstacles and their importance. There always is someone with a bigger, oh, well, you think that sucks? Your truck got stolen, Kyle? My 3 cars in my house got stolen. And you're like, wait, what? And like, someone's always so quick to say, you don't understand. It's worse for me than you. And this is why I can't do something. But no one likes to hear that. We all know someone who does that. Like, when you say something and they make it bigger and about them, you're like, why can't you just acknowledge what I'm doing? But we'll do it to other people. And most importantly, we'll do it to ourselves. And we'll let our excuses be these massive obstacles that stop us from taking the action we want to take in life. So this is our push and our calling to you to not do this, because living a purpose-filled life is just the best thing ever. Like, when you're busy and you know where you're going and you're working towards something, there's such enrichment from that. And it's such a good call to be on top of that. And as we go into my thoughts section, I was listening to a motivational video, and I mentioned that every day we wake up and someone else didn't. And the speaker was saying we have a 24-hour window to do something special every day and live our purpose. And this doesn't mean you got to be climbing mountains or doing crazy things, but even as part of your purpose, like if you're a huge extrovert, you love people, like get out there, smile, be nice to people, make them feel great. Like, that can be your calling. And if that enriches you, you'll be more excited to do that every day. Where we're in a bad spot, like when we feel meaningless and mundane, it's when we're directionless, when we don't know where we're going towards, what we're doing. And I love that the speaker of this video really just mentioned, read a book, do something uncomfortable, and start a journey. Start that journey you've been putting off. And this could be the journey to self-improvement, the journey to knowledge, the journey to fitness, the journey to health, the journey to learning a new skill set, like getting on cooking or figuring out an obstacle in your life that you haven't been able to get over. Like, it's a good challenge to create that challenge for yourself, because it will be rewarding. So once again, that is our call for you, and that's all I have, but I know Kyle has some additional thoughts and notes.
Yeah, so I was listening to a podcast recently by Chris Williamson, host of the Modern Wisdom podcast, one of the podcasts we definitely recommend. He has lots of different guests and stuff, and the one guest he was interviewing was a gentleman who created Die with Zero, and that's one of our favorite finance-based books. And anyways, this guest had, the author had said, life is a sum of your choices and a sum of your experiences. And I kind of turned it off for a second. I just sat there for a few minutes and I was thinking, I was like, every single choice like dictates what happens in our life. All of our experience dictates what happens in our life. And like those two things, like our choices and our experiences, like that's everything. Like, similar to what we've been talking about here, like you have that choice to react one way or to react another way. Which choice are you going to do? You have an option to do this experience. Are you going to take it? Are you not going to take it? So those two things, choices and experiences, I sat there, I'm like, that's life, that's all it really is. And it can go so many different ways. And I really like that one. And one other thing, and this is a little mini client shout out, but I thought it was really cool. I got a text from my client Dale this morning, and his little son had filled out something at school, and it said, "My dad is so awesome. He's 42 years old. He's really good at working out," and then like a lot of other stuff. And I really like that. Like, that honestly made my day to wake up and see that, because his kids are seeing him become that person. His identity is that person who works out. And I just think it's so impactful, because we don't realize how much of an impact we have on those around us, the actions that people see, what we do, like just the fact that people are always watching. And when your kid is always seeing you hit the gym and do all these healthy things, and just, they start to learn, and it's not even just the kids, it's the people around you that start to take note of that. So it's a good reminder to just be a good example, to just live that healthy lifestyle, how it can inspire other people. And even just that, little one now, seeing that take place, I'm sure that's going to have such an amazing impact. And I just thought it was really cool just seeing that identity of Dale, who's been in this program for a while, who's been so consistent, who's lost a ton of weight. You've heard me shout him out before, but I thought that was incredible, and I wanted to share that cool little win.
All right, those are our thoughts for this week. Always like talk about what's relevant to us that can be relevant to you. And just make sure when you listen to it too, say, how can I apply this to my life? How can I use this knowledge to grow? Because we're big on that. Knowledge is power when applied. So a great friendly reminder for that. And now, once again, we're going to get more knowledge learning about one of our client successes.
Yeah, so Patricia has been doing incredible in our coaching program, and the confidence is just day and night. If you are watching on YouTube, I highly recommend checking it out. You can see visuals, you can see tips, you can see all that great stuff. So make sure to check that out. You can click down below to watch our YouTube channel, Fit, Healthy, and Happy podcast there. But I love everything that she had shared, especially her tips, her testimonial, all that great stuff. But the number one tip when we asked her what she recommends to everyone listening, she said, get a coach. I thought what I was doing was right, but I learned quickly it takes a lot more than just exercising. Nutrition plays a huge role, and a coach helps pinpoint exactly what you need to do to achieve your goals and takes all the guessing out of it. And like, that's it. I feel like I don't have to add anything else there. And if you are on the fence for coaching and you're just wanting to take that leap, just know that having that person by your side that's unemotionally attached, who can take the guesswork out of the process, give you a game plan, it's worth every penny, and we can't wait to help some of you people with this amazing promo. So make sure to send us a message with the keyword shredded to our Instagram, ColossusFit, ColossusUSFIT. And that's all we got for the shout out. Amazing job, Patricia. Let's keep crushing it. We can't wait to help some more of you awesome people.
Yeah, and as I was saying, this can be your journey. If you want to level up your fitness, health, and happiness and get guaranteed results and see change in your physique like you've never seen before, change that's going to blow away people you know and just really set you to that next level in your journey, because we all deserve this. And I'm telling you, I always like to say to my clients, when you see results, you get addicted, because it's amazing to progress, see the change in your body, to feel the difference in your strength, your energy, your excitement towards everything. It's just absolutely amazing. And this is an amazing test group to join. So if you're looking to get shredded, this is for you. Once again, DM us on Instagram saying shredded to @ColossusFit, ColossusUSFIT. If you're not following on Instagram, make sure you do that as well, because we got some amazing content there that you do not want to miss out on. We also have a $100 Starbucks giveaway going on, so feel free to check over and be eligible to win that. But now we're going to go ahead and jump into our client questions. And the first question we have for this week is very fitting with the promo we have going on, which is tips on getting shredded. I'm kind of lean, but I want to keep going and see what I am capable of doing.
So this is a great question. And my first answer for a lot of people would be to just keep going. I think a lot of times to get from like lean to shredded, you have to just stay a little bit more consistent, keep doing it for a little bit longer than you think you should be. I know a lot of people like this. Like, let's say you do a 12-week cut, you do some great things, you're losing some body fat, you're really happy with where you're at. You go a couple more weeks, maybe an extra month or so, you're going to be unstoppable. But of course, there's so many other things to consider and a lot more than that. My biggest answer that I think would be a great takeaway is just to like really make sure that you're continuously staying in that calorie deficit. And there's so many different ways to approach this. And this is where it gets challenging, because some people get to the point where they're extremely hungry. So we may need to make a couple different maneuvers. We may need to add in a little bit of extra cardio, change the programming. That's all something we take care of with our coaching. So I highly recommend that to go from good to great. But for a lot of people, it's just making sure to find that way that you create that deficit for a little bit longer. So you could start to increase your cardio, maybe do instead of 5 sessions of 100 calories of cardio, we might bump it up to 5 sessions of 200 calories of cardio. We might start to improve the deficit within the nutrition. So instead of, let's say, 1,800 calories, we'll drop you down to 1,600. Those little things can make such a difference. And for the person who ends up getting shredded, they're consistently in a deficit. They're finding foods that fill them up, that help them stay satiated, even though they will be a little bit hungry. And it's just about taking that next step, being uncomfortable, doing things that you never did before to help you get to that level that you've never reached before. And this is where a lot of people struggle, because you still have to dial in a lot of things. You have to make sure you're weighing things really well. You have to make sure that you're just taking that next level and like being 100% sure that you're in a calorie deficit, because if you're not, you're going to maintain, you're not going to lose that extra body fat. But stay consistent, stay persistent, and it'll come together if you do it for the right amount of time, essentially.
110%. That is the key. I find it's just locking in. The more you can lock in and just cut out the noise and really be committed to your goals, a lot of people say they want something but don't truly want it and won't put the work to do it. We say it every podcast, if you want to get somewhere you've never been, you got to do something you've never done. And especially getting shredded, you need to be really locked in, because it's really easy to undo a lot of progress by having a really excessive day or a weekend or taking that time off. But being shredded just comes to locking in, being on top of your food, being aware of your tracking, crushing those workouts, and doing these things right. And it doesn't need to be miserable just the same. As you're going to see with this test group, 90 days from now, I hope you're going to be in it. We're going to be sharing your photos and the amazing progress you've had. We're going to say, I wish I did that, and I wish I was at that level, because by optimizing nutrition in a healthy and sustainable way, you can still have your favorite foods and still see progress. It's not like you're going to have to cut everything out. People often think to get shredded, they can't eat junk food anymore, they can't have any sugar, they can't have a drink, they can't do anything. That's not the case at all. Obviously, these things will help. And for some people, like, those are the vices that are holding them back. Even today, I saw a guy in the gym I haven't seen in years, and he looked like bigger and leaner than ever. And I'm like, man, you're looking good, bro. And he's like, yeah, I stopped drinking so much. I'm like, okay, well, that's great. Like, that was that thing that was holding him back. And oftentimes, a lot of us will have something that holds us back. Good examples of this will be way too much alcohol, way too much sweets, having a lot of unnecessary snacking, always getting that extra thing. And then I'd say for the biggest one for most people is falling off on those weekends, or finding reasons to not adhere to your journey. So, oh, I'd love to stick to my macros, but I'm out at dinner at this weird place, or I've been busy all day, so I had to get something quick. Like, you need an attitude that it's like, I'm going to find a way to stick to my parameters and succeed within what I need to do. And when you do that, you will get shredded. And like I said earlier, it's really important you know what you want, because people think they want to get shredded, but it requires a lot of work, a lot of sacrifice. When you are really shredded, you're going to be suppressing hormones. Your energy is going to be a little bit lower. You're going to be a little bit like softer in your muscle. Like, it's not as glamorous as it looks. And that's what our advice is: to get really lean once, take a ton of photos, and then kind of find a level of leanness that you're happy with. Like, I'm lean, but I'm not absolutely peeled to my brain. And even with this test group, we want to help you get lean so you can see visible abs, so you can see some striations, so you can see muscles popping, so you can be in a good level, a good healthy level of where you want to be. But we're not talking about like you're going to have striations on your glutes or anything like that. So it's really important you know what you're looking to achieve, and if you're willing to do what it takes, because it does take sacrifice. That's the sad truth. And as I mentioned, you can do less sacrifice by doing it intelligently, because the people who beat themselves to a pulp, like traditional, I guess, bro science, like a lot of competitors will have their clients, they'll be an hour on the Stairmaster every single day. They'll be under 100 carbs every single day at about a gram of protein a day. And you can do that protocol I just said and do your workouts, and you will get absolutely peeled, but you'll have a miserable life, and chances are you'll be pretty cranky, irritable, and you may have a complete 180 when you come outside of that. And that's why that's not the move. And we approach it from a very scientific and psychologically advantageous position to make sure you can see those results in a healthy, sustainable way and maintain them. And then outside of that, we can do a reverse diet. We can bring up the calories, get you to a level, a reasonable amount of leanness that you're comfortable with. We can have more calories, you can have your social life, and you can really find, this is where I feel best, or I like being a little bit leaner, I want to be more full. And it gives you that play and that ability to adjust your goals, because our goals are always changing and evolving. And oftentimes when we get what we want to look to that next goal. That's where having a coach is so good, because the coach can see around corners. You think you know what you want, the coach can see around that corner and really make sure you get directed to where you need to be.
Yeah, honestly, like, the people that really succeed are the ones that just stay ultra consistent. Like, it's so easy for people who mess up, who, it's summertime, you think that you're just falling off and stuff and you just continue. But it's those people who just, no matter what, they plan ahead, they stick to it on the weekend. If they do have a slip up, they jump right back to it. And those are the people that see the best success possible. So great answer there. I know Josh gave some great things to think about, and hopefully this helped you in some way or another today.
All right, next up, we have best protein options for summer. I find I can never hit my protein anymore with everything going on. And this is an excellent question, because with summer, it is hard. There's barbecues, there's exciting event, there's lavish dinners, there's beach seasons. And I know Kyle really is good with packing his snacks, and even in his truck when we were in Montreal when it got stolen, we had all these protein chips and he had all these snacks in there. I'm like, oh, we're without our tools. But I know Kyle has some really good suggestions here, so I'll let him take it away.
Yeah, it was funny because we were obviously eating on the go, eating out and stuff. And like, there were multiple times I was like, yes, I'm upset about this truck. But I'm like, those Quest chips, I brought 4 bags for us. I brought protein bars and stuff. And I was like, trying to make a positive out of the situation. I was like, I could have used those. I was like, this would be a perfect moment for this. But even last night, we went out to dinner with some friends. So for an afternoon snack, knowing that I had to plan ahead a bit. So I had a bag of Quest chips. I know Josh actually had some chicken, I think, which is pretty cool. But it's just, there's so many different ways to approach it. But I would say like there's definitely some really good snacks. Like I do utilize in the summer a little bit more protein powder and Quest chips just based off of special events when stuff like that's taking place. I'm a huge fan though of anything I can cook on the barbecue just because I find it tastes better, and it's a great way to, just utilize the fresh air and it tastes awesome. So I'll always do chicken. I'll do fish once a week or so. I'll do a little bit of steak here and there if I have a little bit more fat left in the day and try to plan for that stuff. And I'm just a huge fan of chicken or turkey burgers. I find that they're really solid macros, a great dinner, super easy. And then of course, Greek yogurt. Every single morning, I've been really enjoying the plain Greek yogurt. Not that I think it's the greatest tasting, but in terms of setting myself up for success and just having a bunch of berries and a little bit of hemp hearts and, chia seeds and stuff, I find that that's been super beneficial. But honestly, when it comes down to just like struggling with hitting protein during special events, with everything that's going on, you just have to take a look at the day and be like, how can I set myself up for success? It might be grabbing a bag of Quest chips. It might be having even just a plain chicken breast, to fill you up and to hold you over. Take a look at that and you'll be able to work through it if you pre-log, and you'll be good to go there.
Yeah, I just like to think of unique, specific to summer things. Oftentimes, like you're going to want something cool and refreshing, and a great thing to use is smoothies. Like it's a great time in the summer to double down on smoothies, especially if when you're in less clothes and you're moving around, you're running more. It feels good to eat something a little bit lighter inside of you. So I really double down on my smoothies. I also like Greek yogurt because it has that kind of feel, that texture. It's cold, it's creamy, it's like wispy kind of, I guess, and it's not super like heavy in your system. So those are two things I really double down that become huge staples of my summer. I really do tend to double down on that chicken too. I just think it's very filling. It's very easy to do. You can barbecue way more, so there's a lot of opportunity to continue to seize that. The more you can find unique snacks and little hacks that make you happy, like there's protein ice cream, so you can save that for a fun, like you can have something really tasty as well as something that is dense in protein. And then of course, barbecuing is just amazing alongside all those other options Kyle had provided. But those are some of my favorite go-tos. If I'm in a pinch, you can look for smoothies, you can supplement with protein, you can look for more healthy chicken, fun options like that, and you can have a lot more success. And if you know you have these events going up, it just comes down to planning, a little bit of preparation, being on top of it. So pre-log, look up restaurant menus in advance. Doing these basic things will give you such a big leg up in your journey. Now, last but not least, we have our final question for today, which is how much should you be exercising in a day? And I'll go ahead and start this by saying it depends, and I don't know. Everyone is entirely different, and I do believe there should be a base level of movement we should do. We're definitely not meant to sit 16 hours of the day, assuming you're sleeping 8. Like 16 hours is a lot of sitting, and for most of us, we'll do maybe an hour in the gym, and that's it. No one will go on a walk. I know a lot of people with dogs and never take them on walks, and they'll kind of just sit at home, and then they'll work, and then after work, they'll be tired, so they'll lay down, watch TV, and it's a lot of sitting, a lot of laying down. So it is good to get out and exercise as much as you can. And I'd say you should do as much exercise as you can without burning yourself out, because there is a level. You also want to make sure you are resting if you're someone who's always going. But it feels good to be on the move. Go on those walks. Go to a park. And these don't have to be vigorous running, sprints, anything like that. Just be out, be active, move your body. But at a baseline, I would say lifting at least 4 times a week. I'd recommend 5. If you have an insanely active job and you're doing like 3 full upper body days, that's cool too. But make sure you are getting some movement every day. I like the adage of trying to sweat every day, and I really am a fan of that 10K steps mark. I know for a lot of people that's way too much than you've been doing. And if you've been doing 3K steps a day, and that's the honest truth, aim for 5, then aim for 7. And as you start to normalize that pattern of walking more, it'll feel better. I love walks. I find it's a great time for me to think. It's a great time for me to chat. It's a great time for me to be in nature, to look around, to explore. It's a really cool time for me. So doing 10K is easy. I like it. I'll easily go on 2, 3 a day, no problem. But I know if you've never gone on one and it's weird for you to just go on a walk, start with 1, build up into it. But another great way to just add more exercise into your life is co-ed leagues and sports. So you can join a volleyball league, a baseball league, something to hold you accountable to get out there to be active and do something you like. Go kick a soccer ball around. But at a very base level, walks are your friend, getting in the gym is your friend. But the more you can do past that, like you should celebrate movement, be proud of exercise, and aim to use your body for what it likes. Like it feels good to be out, be sore, be happy, go do some gardening. Like there's so much you can do. Just really try to be aware of how much you are indeed sitting, because we definitely are not made to be sitting that long.
I really like all those answers, and even just like push yourself, challenge yourself. Like, it's honestly amazing what you are capable of once you build yourself up. Like, I think I'm probably around 2 to 4 hours a day. It really depends, right? There's, about, let's say 75 to 90 minutes of lifting, 30 to 45 minutes of walking. And then usually each day there'll be something like we'll play beach volleyball, especially as summer comes. We've been doing it a couple times a week, which is awesome. Do a little bit of hockey, maybe go out for maybe a round of golf. We've been doing bike riding every Wednesday. Like, it sounds like it's a lot, but honestly, it's so chill. Like, it's like there's so many amazing things, even volleyball. Like, it's not like you have to be crazy intense for 3 hours like we played recently, and you get some good breaks, you get to chill out a bit. It's it's such an amazing thing. And like Josh said, celebrating movement, celebrating exercise, not looking at it like, holy, I have to do 2 hours of movement for today. It's like, I get to do 2 hours of incredible movement and feel so good, and being out in the sun is amazing, and just moving your body. Like, I would say definitely try to do more than less, and you're always going to thank yourself when once again, you don't realize what you have till it's gone. Like, you don't want to get to that point where you look back and you're like, I wish I tried going on this biking adventure, or tried doing this event, or join this league. Like, you never want to get to that point. So yeah, just push yourself there. You don't really have to keep track of how much you're doing. Like, I don't really sit there each day thinking like, oh cool, I got 2.5 hours of exercise. I have my schedule. I do what I kind of want to do. I try to stay consistent with it. And of course, listening to your body. Like, there are some times where I'm like, oh, okay, I'm going to have to take it a bit easier on this mountain bike ride, but I'm still going to get out there and just enjoy being in nature. So that's all I have for that specific question.
Well, that is today's episode. Thank you for tuning in. If you love our podcast, ways you can help us, follow us on Instagram so we can help you more. You can see more visuals. We got videos, photos, stories, amazing content that's all going to help you in your journey, because that is our ultimate goal. Our Instagram is @ColossusFit, ColossusFit. The other biggest thing you can do is, if you like our podcast, share it with a friend, share this episode to your Instagram story. Let's get this out so more people can see it. That is our favorite thing. When we see anyone doing that, it means the world, and we see every single one who does it, because it helps us grow. It helps other people discover fitness, health, happiness, and everyone deserves that. So if you can do your part in helping us help other people, that means the world. So thank you so much for tuning in. We will see you Thursday for the next episode. Peace out.